Hey guys, this is Dr. Hub. Today let's look at the dermatome of the upper limb. So the dermatome of the upper limb. So the cutaneous innervation of the upper limb. So let's look at the anterior aspect. So roughly let's draw the diagram. And below we have the 5 fingers. So let's call this as the anterior aspect. So this is the anterior aspect. So anteriorly there is a portion. This portion, the top portion, we'll call it the supraclavicular. So this is nothing but the supraclavicular. Supraclavicular nerve, and this is from the cervical plexus. So this is from the cervical plexus. That is the C3 and the C4. Next is we have the axillary nerve. So this is nothing but the AN, that is the axillary nerve. So axillary nerve is the superior lateral brachial cutaneous nerve. The axillary nerve as well as the superior lateral brachial cutaneous nerve. So superior lateral brachial cutaneous nerve, that is a C5 as well as a C6. Next we have the radial nerve or the inferior lateral brachial cutaneous nerve. Then we have the radial nerve. The radial nerve or the inferior lateral brachial cutaneous nerve, that is a C5 as well as the C6. Then we have, there is on the medial aspect, there is the intercostobrachial nerve. Intercostobrachial nerve, we are writing it as ICBN, that is concerned with the T2 and the medial branch cutaneous nerve. Medial branch cutaneous nerve, that is C8, T1 and the T2. Next comes the question on the lateral cutaneous. There is another portion. So this is nothing but the lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So there is a lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So this will be the C5, 6 and 7. So C5, 6 and 7. So let's draw this fresh. So we covered the arm. So now let's look at the forearm. So under the forearm there was a lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve. Lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve, this was C5, 6 and the 7. Then we look at the terminal part of the musculocutaneous nerve. Then comes the terminal. There is a terminal part, and this terminal part is of the musculocutaneous nerve. And now let's look medially. Medially, it is the medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So there is a medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So there is a medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So root values here, it includes the C8 and the T1. So this was about the forearm, that is the anterior aspect. Now let's move on to the arm, the hand. Looking at the palm, what do we have? So here on the towards the thumb there is a radial nerve. So radial nerve, it is nothing but the superficial branch, and that is from 6 and 7. It includes 6 and 8. C6 to 8. Then comes the palmar branch. There is a palmar branch and the palmar disc. So let's partition them. So this breaks in from 1.5 fingers. So all this, what does it include? So this, it includes there is a median nerve. So it's a composition of the median nerve. There is also the presence of the palmar branch as well as the palmar digital branches. the palmar digital branches, that is a C6 to the 8. Next is looking at the ulnar nerve. There is a, so this is by the ulnar nerve. So what does this include? So it is around 1.5 fingers, and the ulnar nerve, if you look at the root value, it will be the C8 and the T1. So it is C8 and T1. So it includes a palmar. So there is a palmar branch as well as the palmar digital branch. Palmar branch and the palmar digital branches are present. So this was only the anterior aspect. Now let's jump into the posterior aspect. So posterior aspect is also going to be very similar, but the distribution will be slightly different. So now we'll be looking from the shoulder to the forearm. How is it? So on the shoulder, as we saw earlier, it is going to be the supraclavicular nerve, and that is the medial and the intermediate and the lateral branches. So that is a C3 and the C4. Next, below this, it will be the axillary nerve. So below this will be the axillary. This is nothing but the axillary nerve, and the axillary nerve as well as superficial lateral branches, cutaneous nerve. So there is a superficial lateral branch cutaneous nerve. That is nothing but the C5 and the 6. So below this, on the medial aspect, there is going to be the same. It is similar to that of the anterior aspect. So medially, there is the intercostobrachial nerve. So intercostobrachial nerve, that is a T2, and then there is also presence of the medial branches, the medial brachial cutaneous nerve. So medial brachial cutaneous nerve, it includes the C8, T1 as well as the T2. Now in the center, there is going to be the, so all this is going to be the, there is this area, it contains the radial nerve. So it contains the radial nerve as well as a posterior brachial cutaneous nerve. So the root value is C5 to 8. Then there is also the inclusion of the inferior lateral cutaneous nerve. So inferior lateral cutaneous nerve is also present here, and there is also the presence of the lateral. So this is nothing but the lateral antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So anti-lateral brachial cutaneous nerve is C5 as well as 6 and 7. So that includes the terminal branches of the musculocutaneous nerve. So it includes the terminal branches of the musculocutaneous nerve. So on the medial aspect, what are we missing? So this is nothing but the medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve. So medial antebrachial cutaneous nerve, we are writing it as MABCN. So this will include nothing but the C8 as well as the T1. So this was about the arm and the forearm. Now let's look at the hand. So under the hand we have 5 fingers. Let's draw it. So here the division is there is a partition between the middle finger. So this will be one category, and on the other hand there is another partition which covers the rest of the fingers. And the tip will be totally different. The tip, so this is how the distribution is. Now let's look at each nerve division. So this is going to include the towards the away from the thumb finger, it is including the dorsal branch. So all this is part of the ulnar nerve, that is the root value C8 to T1. So what are the branches involved? The branches, it includes the dorsal branch and the dorsal digital branches. So it includes the dorsal branch. So it includes the dorsal branch as well as dorsal digital branch. So dorsal branch as well as dorsal digital branch. And what will be the, there is also palmar digital branches. There is a palmar digital branch. There is a palmar digital branch is present in the also present as a part of the ulnar nerve. Next, let's look at the other divisions. The other divisions, it includes, there is a median nerve. There is a median nerve and the palmar branches, and these are attached to the tips. This is nothing but it includes a median nerve. There is a median nerve as well as palmar digital branches. There is a median nerve as well as palmar digital branches. And next, what are the other nerves which are involved? So this is nothing but the radial nerve. It is composition of the radial nerve. There is a superior branch, and there is also dorsal digital branches. There is a dorsal digital branches. That is nothing but the C6 to the C8. C6 and C8.